and welcome to Community Action, show where we take a look at the nonprofit businesses and other organizations throughout Columbus County and how they're helping the residents of Columbus County each and every day. Glad to have you with us once again. As you can see, we're not back in the studios yet. Very few businesses are beginning to open up now, and as we go along with this pandemic and the phased rollout, more businesses will come online, more nonprofits will be back to operation. But today we are very thankful to have with us representatives from Families First, which is a domestic violence, not only a shelter, but an organization that provides for those who are involved in domestic violence. We have with us today Vickie Pait, who is the executive director, and Greta, who is the assistant executive director and chief advocate for this organization. Ladies, welcome. Glad to have you with us today. What exactly is Families First? How did it come about? How did you become involved with it? And what does Families First do for Columbus County?
Well, Dave, Families First is a domestic violence and sexual assault agency. We serve both domestic violence and sexual assault survivors. We started this work in 1995. As a matter of fact, November the 1st, 1995 will begin my 26th year as the executive director here. It was established because there was definite need in Columbus County for a domestic violence program. At that time in the state, I believe we probably had about 65 of the counties covered. And so with the help of some really good citizens in the county and people that were interested in the district attorney's office, we were able to establish this program. I became involved simply because the job that I did was not very satisfying to me, and this became available. And I happened to be aware of domestic violence issues because of the job that I was doing, which was early childhood intervention, and I was in homes where domestic violence was definitely taking place. And so, again, the need for the program was seen. They received grant funding. And so we developed then, and I tell people, our first year budget was $50,000, and our budget this year is about $780,000. So we have developed into a completely full service program. Very proud of the services that we provide. I also tell people that I'd stand up against any program in the state. We do rely solely on grants and public and private, state grants, federal grants, and funding from the public, donations, fundraisers, our thrift store. So we are a nonprofit run by a board of directors. A lot of people don't quite understand how nonprofits work. We do receive money from the state, but we are not a state agency. Right. And we don't get state benefits or any of that kind of stuff. So, but like I said, I've done this work for almost 26 years, and there have been times that I didn't love it, but overall, I have truly feel that this is exactly what I was meant to do.
Greta, how did you become involved, and what is a chief advocate?
I started in 2004, and I came in filling in through the summer for someone who was out on medical leave. And while I was here, just filling in, there happened to be an advocate position come open, and I moved into that. And basically from 2004 up until now, we've added quite a few advocates. And so we have, over time, I've kind of transitioned out of being mainly working with clients all the time, but just kind of, we do more of a supervisory with the advocates that we have, and kind of doing we collaborate together and come up with ideas on ways to help those people that we're stuck on, that we can't figure out ways. So we come up with, put ideas together, and we contact other agencies, and I kind of just help see them through that process and make sure that the clients and the victims are getting the services that they need, and that nobody's falling through the cracks. I've been here for a long time, and it feels very comfortable. Myself have experienced some domestic violence in the past as a younger person. And it's something that's very close to my heart because of that, and because of having friends that have been in situations where they needed help and they needed someone to be there and support them through things. And that's just kind of where I've been. And I don't foresee myself going anywhere anytime soon. I enjoy working and seeing the positive outcomes that come through what we do.
The COVID-19 pandemic has turned our world upside down and changed how we do everything, but how specifically have the services at Families First changed due to the COVID-19 virus?
Well, it's been very interesting. The funny thing about it is Greta has actually been on sick leave. She was out on sick leave when everything started. And Greta tends to be the person that I bounce ideas off of. And she knows how I do it, and she listens and comes back. Well, Greta wasn't here. And I would try to bounce ideas off of other people, and they just looked at me like, what do you want me to say? I don't know what to say. So it's been it's been an experience. There are most programs in the state still are not back in the office. We have, however, what we started with was when the stay-at-home order came into effect, we had someone every day on call so that we didn't come into the office. But if someone needed our services, the person on call would meet them up here and assist them with the kind of whatever they needed. We answered crisis calls. So that was weird. That's just not the way we do services. We are a very, what we do is very intimate in these people's lives. And so it's just really not ideal to do it over the phone or over the computer. And especially for our advocates, we're kind of touchy-feely. We ask for consent, but we're comforters. And so it's very difficult. That's been a really difficult thing for the advocates here. And, we've been getting a lot of people are reaching out to us through Messenger. And that's also a difficult forum because there's no inflection. There's no, it's just straight. This is it. And so, we have had a lot of that. We've sat in the parking lot and helped people do protection orders. The court has been an issue in that, they're not running the way they normally do. So there's just certain times that judges are available. So if somebody comes in for a protection order, we kind of have to work that out. So that's been different. We'll talk about shelter in a little bit, but shelter's kind of been having to be handled very differently. So it's, we're doing our best to protect staff and the public while maintaining social distancing, sanitizing often. And again, it's not something that we enjoy doing, but the one thing, and I tell everybody this, if there's a silver lining in it, it has taught us that we have to be open-minded and to figure out different ways to do things. So it's helped us in developing policies and procedures that will hopefully address similar, it's just like the hurricanes. You learn from we learned from the first flood, we learned from the second flood. And so the silver lining in it has helped us think out of the box, like doing Facebook Lives and doing Zoom calls. And I'm telling you, I've seen my grantors more in the last 2 months than I've seen them in the last 10 years. And it gets to the point where it's like, I don't want another Zoom call this week. So just thinking about how we can do things differently as time progresses, I think that electronics and the internet stuff is going to be more and more common. So it has allowed us to look at other ways to do things.
We have to be kind of like the military. You have to adapt, improvise, and overcome in order to make things work correctly. Greta, tell me about what exactly you're doing to protect your staff and your clients other than just social distancing.
Well, in our office, we have a procedure to where we have a note on the door and we're asking people to call in so that we can discuss your situation over the phone and see which direction we need to go. If once they come into the office, we determine that they're a client of suitable for a protection order, or other services that we provide, they come into the office. We have the plexiglass dividers. We do have some masks that are available. We ask that they wear masks. If they don't have one, we're willing to provide them one. We have hand sanitizer. We're cleaning around the office on the regular. We are also, I think Vickie mentioned earlier, we're working just a couple of people in the office a day, so that everybody's not here at one time. It's a limited amount of staff. There are some times when we go and sit in the parking lot, and help people with orders. But right here in the office, those things, as far as we are social distancing when we can, and obviously with the intimate work that we do, it's not always easy to social distance, but we are wearing the mask, and we have put up the plexiglass divider between where we sit and they sit. And so those things are available. We are struggling really to get people in the courthouse in a timely manner, just because of the way the court system is running right now. But those are just a few of the things we've put in. Vickie, can you think of anything else?
We are, again, we have our own Zoom meetings every week for staff meetings, just so that we can all stay in touch with each other. One of the things about this, and I call them the team here, is that we are very close knit. We come in the mornings and have like an hour sort of stressing, talking about things that happened yesterday. So we're very much missing our coworkers. So I think of all of this, that's because we are able to bounce ideas off of each other, but we want to make sure that we maintain that social distancing, where we don't have more than a couple people in here at a time. And even though it's not ideal, I think that it's working okay. It's we do what we have to do to.
It is what it is, and you got to work with it. So
that's exactly right. So
Vickie, have you seen an increase in domestic violence or sexual assault during this time when people are basically confined to their homes in quarantine? Has that been an uptick in that?
We have received, our services, our need for services has increased by about 114%. That being said, it means we are receiving a large increase in number of crisis calls. And the bad thing about it is so many of these crisis calls, there's nothing that we can do. These people, we're getting them from, say, a doctor's office, where somebody might be the only place they can get away from their abuser. And, so they're more severe, and they have increased in number. So we feel like that as it goes on, it's going to continue to increase. And sexual assault historically has shown to increase during times like this, and it's very underreported. So and especially child sexual assault, which is of course we do see a big increase in that, and you're not necessarily going to see it quickly. It's going to be as time goes on. So there is, what people need to understand is that you're where I feel safe in my home, and that's my happy place, and that's where I want to go. These people are stuck in a place where there's they're in the most danger. So it's a really kind of it's a scary situation for us. We tend to talk about it like I said, somebody might get us through Messenger, and several of us are able to see that, and it's like, are you talking to her? Are you was that you that said this? And so we're
making sure that nobody falls through the cracks in the process of all this.
Yeah, and it's really kind of difficult and it's scary. We had, Greta and I, she called me yesterday and she's like, "Are you talking to this person?" And I said, "Yeah." And she goes, "I'm really worried about her." And so it's that's the frustrating part of it, is that their inability to get here, and it's because frequently an abuser is so controlling and so um, has to control every part of a victim's life. And, it's just difficult for a victim to get away if he's, or I'm not trying to say he or she, but if the abuser is out of work, he's home all the time. And as a person who, my husband works swing shift. So, I mean, I'm used to him being gone a lot. And he happened to take a 2-week vacation at the beginning of this. And as much as we got on each other's nerves during that 2 weeks, I can't imagine being in an unhealthy relationship and having to be with that. So that's been a very frustrating thing that we're seeing. Like I said, we see the increase in crisis calls, but we're not necessarily seeing an increase in people coming in for services because of the inability. We have to plan it down to the T. Okay, the police officer will be at your house at 3:25. Get your stuff, get everything together. And so it's just been it's not only been an increase, it's just been also a frustration for us to try to make sure that we're getting the services to everybody that needs them.
It's hard to comfort and empower people through talking through messenger or text, because you don't get the inflection in the conversation, and a lot of those people are not safe getting on a phone. That's the only way they can do it, is in secret, and so it's really hard to be a comfort and empowering and guide someone when you can't see them face to face and touch them and let them hear how much you care and how much you want to help them, no matter what your words say, because words don't always get the point across.
Greta, is the shelter still open? Are you still utilizing the shelter, and has that changed any?
The shelter is still open. It has changed. We're operating at 50% capacity, and we are asking that those people who are in the shelter do the social distancing. If they can't in the community areas, they're asked to wear masks. There's thorough cleaning going on throughout the shelter. If we are asking if they can safely isolate themselves for a period before they come into shelter, then we're asking that they do that. But we are trying to keep our house, our shelter at about 50%, and then we have some backup locations that we are housing people as well. So we're trying not to get a full house in the shelter, but the few that are there, we're trying to, if they're showing signs of sickness, they can isolate in their rooms and kind of stay out of the community areas. But there is staff and the families that are there are going through the process of sanitizing and cleaning on a regular basis throughout the day. And again, we do have those backup locations just in case we have extra people that need to be sheltered.
Vickie, I know you all run a thrift store downtown. How has this affected the thrift store? Are you open, or can people still bring stuff in? I'm sure there's got to be some new guidelines with all this going on.
We are open. We were closed during the time of shelter at home. We were, prior to phase 1, we were closed. We did open the Monday after I think the opening was the 22nd. We opened that Monday following. Prior to that, we were open to accept donations at the thrift store because the thrift store is really, it provides probably about 25% of our budget. So it's very important that we, to do what we can. So we were accepting donations for a couple of weeks before we opened to the public. We have made some changes. We request that customers, when they come, we've limited the amount of people to 15 in the store. And we have 6 feet, marked off here and there throughout the store for social distancing. We are asking that everybody sanitize their hands. We provide hand sanitizer. We're also asking that people wear masks. If they don't have one, we can provide them with one. We have had a couple people that have refused to wear a mask. That's something that when you look at the news right now, I'm not willing for my staff to put themselves in danger. So, if you come in and you're not wearing one, we're not going to start a fight, but we do encourage people to think of the other people in the store when they come in and wear a mask. We are continuing to accept donations. Basically, the only change in that is we sanitize it when it comes in. Is we just kind of spray it down with sanitizer, and the sanitizer that we get that's the amount we need is the one with from the distillery, and boy, it's woo, it's been interesting. I'm sure that everybody that shops now is thinking that we're all partaking of alcohol during the day. But it is the sanitizer that we're using. And if it's sunny, we let the stuff sit outside for 30, 45 minutes in the sun before we bring it in. But we've always kind of been real careful about what we put out there anyway. So it's just really kind of taking it to another level and, just kind of making sure that we clean off surfaces. We've got the plexiglass things between the register and the customers. So we're doing things that other places are doing to try to make sure that the customers and the employees at the thrift store are safe. So we were asking, the main place we have is back in the back, people sorting through donations. If they can't social distance, and that's kind of a place they can't, we are asking staff to wear masks, or anytime they have interactions with customers that they wear masks. So.
Greta, your whole organization survives on grants and donations. What can the public do, the community here in Columbus County, to help you and to help provide for some of the services that you offer to your clients?
Well, they can continue to do the donations like they have in the past, and we depend on those greatly. We this year, we, like last year and the year before, we have foregone our fundraiser due to some kind of something going on, the flood, and now the pandemic. So the donations have dropped dramatically since the very first flood, and they really have not come back like they were in the past. The donations, the monetary donations, the things that we can use in shelter ongoing, like cleaning supplies, are a necessity. The things obviously that are hard to find, like toilet paper and Clorox, those things we need in our shelter for those people that are there. So the supplies and things that we have always asked for, sheets and towels and paper towels, cleaning products, laundry detergent. Now we can add to that extra sanitizing stuff. But the monetary donations, just showing your support for the agency when we're out, when we have something going on. We might not be doing fundraising, but we are doing a live on Facebook once a week. I'm joining in on our Facebook Live. There are a number of ways. Vickie, can you come up with some other ways that the community can still help?
Well, remember that the thrift store is open. That's that does bring a lot of money into our program. So shop at the thrift store, continue to donate. And like Greta said, contributions have been down, especially since the tax laws have changed. Unless you give a whole lot of money, you're not going to see a whole lot of credit for it on your income taxes. So that has caused a decrease in our contributions. And, continue to remember us. And what I tell people, $25 helps. We're not going to turn down anything. So, you know, and also with the cleaning supplies, we all know how difficult it is to find cleaning supplies right now. Thank goodness for Whiteville Janitorial, and I'm sorry, I've got to give them a shout out, because they have been a lifesaver for not only to have stuff here, we've been able to give it to people who need it. So, you know, because we do have a case or two of toilet paper. We've had employees that haven't been able to get it. So yes, we're going to offer it to them. So, you know, we always need that sort of thing. And money that we get in from the public is money that we don't have to use from a grant to pay for. You know, we can use that somewhere else. So one of the things people need to understand is when we talk about grant funding, that funding is always, you have to spend it on particular things. You can't just, so say if I wanted to buy somebody a ticket to go back to their home somewhere else, I can't necessarily use a grant to pay for that. So we definitely depend on public for support for that. And most of our public support honestly comes through the thrift store in the past while. So we've done our thrift store looks great. We've undergone a whole new, we had plenty of time to clean it out. and it's just, it really looks good. Our Tabor City store, we're closing our current location and we're going to open our new location on July 1st. So we've got some exciting things happening. We ain't going nowhere. So it's
we've got just a couple minutes left. So give me an address where they can mail contributions and a phone number if they need to get more information.
Okay. The address is P.O. Box 1776, Whiteville 28472. And our physical address is 121 West Main Street. If anybody needs us, and a phone number is 910-642-5996, or our crisis line is 910-641-0444.
Having been in law enforcement for most of my life and specializing in child abuse and sexual battery, I can't emphasize how important the work you do is to not just your clients, but to the community as a whole. And so thank you for all that you do. Thank you for standing in the gap for those who can't speak for themselves easily. Thank you for being their voice and their protector. And thank you for joining me today to share this information. And thank you all for joining us as we've come together to hear from this nonprofit organization. We hope you'll join us next time as we take a look at another nonprofit or business in Columbus County and see how they're helping the citizens of Columbus County live better each and every day. You have a great day.